Andrea here. I hope you're doing well. I think by now you have understood that the main reason why you keep packing up weight in terms of what you eat is carbohydrates, also known as sugars. If you're not convinced yet about that, please check this video up here. So for sure, if you have a weight problem, if you keep packing up weight year after year, you need to consider lowering your carbs, your intake of carbohydrates, sugars. Now, because you are a modern individual and you are used to carbohydrates, we are all used to carbohydrates and we love our carbs, there are a couple of things that you can do to afford more carbohydrates. It doesn't mean that you can overdo them, but you can afford some of them. And these two things are building muscle and being active. Before going down that rabbit hole, if you like my videos, please like them on YouTube, subscribe to my channel, share them with your family members or friends that might need help with fat loss. And if you need help, if you're stuck, please contact me. All right, so let's go into the details. Why building muscle and being active could help you afford more carbohydrates. To understand that, let's do a super quick recap of the carbohydrates, also known as sugars. And actually for this talk today, let's focus on glucose. And when you think about glucose carbohydrates, think of all the flour products, so bread, pizza, pasta, all the baked products, and potatoes, all the starchy vegetables, products like that. Okay, so those are the glucose carbohydrates. So when you eat them, your digestive system will absorb the glucose, which will enter your bloodstream, will raise blood glucose, and your pancreas will produce insulin and put it in your bloodstream to get all the glucose in excess and distribute around the body. Your cells will either use the glucose immediately if they need it for energy. They will store it in the cells, in the muscles, and in the liver as glycogen, which is our storage mechanism for glucose, which is limited, so it's not infinite like our fat. And if the glycogen is full, then it will convert the remaining glucose in excess in fat through de novo lipogenesis. So already, after this quick recap, you maybe understand where this is going. The more muscle you have, the more glycogen stores you have, which means that you have a lot of glucose around and your cells don't need it because you're not active, for example. Then they will store it in glycogen before converting it into fat. So the more muscle you have, the more you can store, so the more you can afford. And also, the more active you are, so the more activities you do during the day, low intensity or high intensity, then your cells will use it. So we'll use that glucose, that extra glucose. So imagine this scenario. You have your glycogen stores full. Okay, so maybe you ate already. Your insulin is high, so you are in glucose burning mode. Then, if you do some exercise or some activity, let's say you go in the backyard and you mow your lawn, or you do some work, whatever, you go on the roof, you clean your roof, whatever, you go to the gym and do exercise, then you will burn a lot of sugar, a lot of glucose. So you will release the glucose from your glycogen stores and you will use it. So you will make space for more glucose in your glycogen stores. Okay, so it means that come another meal, you can eat some carbs and replenish that glycogen stores. Then, if you remember, in a recent video, I published a tip, like a biohack. If you actually eat your carbs last in your meal, then first of all, you will probably eat less because you're already full, so you eat less. But second, your body will absorb less of that glucose. Check that video up here. Now, obviously, we are all different, so every person has a different sensitivity and tolerance to carbohydrates. So some people can eat more, other people can eat less, whatever. You will need to find your own threshold. But if you build muscle, and if you are active, if you're an active person, and just a little bit of a tip, if you eat your carbs last in the meal, then putting all those things together, maybe you can afford a little bit more. Definitely, if you need to lose weight, and if you are packing up weight, your carb tolerance is very low. So you will need to lower your carbs. But because you cannot give them up immediately, at least, then if you use these tips, you can afford some more. Many times, especially ladies, when you hear about building muscle, you think, oh no, I don't want to build muscle, I don't want to get bulky. Forget about bulky. You will never become as bulky as a weightlifter, like Schwarzenegger. Forget about that. That is impossible. That requires a lot of work and probably drugs also. So forget about that. Don't worry. Just go build muscle. You will get toned, and when you lose weight, you will have some loose skin. Then you will not be skinny fat. You will have some muscle to show. Okay. Then, if you don't know where to start to build muscle, I would recommend not going on your own and just do whatever you want. That's not the best way and the most efficient way. I would say either, if you are interested, then you can watch some YouTube videos. For example, Athlean X, Jeff Cavalier is a great channel. Look for it. Or I would suggest hire a personal trainer or a fitness coach and tell them exactly what you want, which is building muscle. Don't go to the personal trainer and say, I want to lose weight. That's not what they are for. Exercise is not for losing weight. Build muscle. All right, lastly, so we talked about carbs, how you can afford more. So let's talk about the types of carbs. Now, obviously, you probably are thinking bread, the pizza, the pasta, the croissant, the cookies, in my case, whatever. You're thinking those, like the refined carbohydrates. Now, the reality is those refined carbohydrates, yes, they are part of this discussion, but you should really limit the consumption of those types of carbohydrates. Those are not only bad for your weight, they're bad for your health in general. So, ideally, if you are eating carbohydrates, you should eat whole natural carbohydrates, which means fruits and vegetables at the end of the day. All right, I hope this was useful. These are strategies that you can use even if you are not doing any diet. Build muscle. Start in that journey. Remember, if you need help, if you're still stuck, if you don't know where to start in your weight loss journey, please contact me. All right? I hope to hear from you soon.